This is a very vulnerable setting right now because coming on camera, being put together is just not my vibe. But I'm here for it to show you how to overcome your own fear, and because I have my own fear as well. I'm going to get ready for my next video. I figure why not record that and then go from there. The goal for today is to share how I overcame my fear of being on camera while getting ready with me. Now, there is two things happening simultaneously. One is that I'm recording as I'm getting ready, which is a great content idea for you to incorporate into your content on YouTube. And then two, I want to discuss the fear that most people have when it comes to starting a YouTube channel, and or why maybe certain results that you're getting are not ideal on YouTube, and it might be because it is a fear of being seen. If you're a girly who has not made content yet and wants to start that YouTube video, feel free to keep watching, because we are going to discuss what happened to me when it came down to building an audience of 31,000 subscribers, hitting over 2 million views on my channel, and being able to still be on camera, recreate a different channel, and how you can do the same if that's something that you're interested in. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Justine Jordan, and I help women creators follow their passion while it leads them to their purpose and create content that inspires and impacts the world. And if you're interested in that, feel free to click that subscribe button. I promise you, I don't normally look like this, but there is a whole point to this when it comes down to showing up authentically, and I wanted to bring my full self, no makeup, hair crazy, like all of that. So if that's something that you would love to continue to watch throughout my videos and content of what I share, I also have a free training on my page down below. If you're interested in getting started on your YouTube channel, learn how to monetize your channel, impact the world, and be creative with your content by showing up authentically you. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave it in the description down below. Otherwise, I don't have coffee today. Actually, in the next video that you guys do watch, I will be going outside and vlogging, and we're gonna get coffee then. But for now, I'm sticking to water, so cheers to you being here. All right, so I am always watching the Get Ready With Me. Absolutely love what they do here on YouTube and on TikTok. I think it's one of the easiest contents to create as a female creator, because like it's a whole process for us to get ready. But I also want to talk about like how was I able to overcome the fear of being on camera, along with utilizing, you know, my own get ready, because I never got to do that with my other channels. I'm like, I need to do that here. We like talk about being on camera. Get ready for me is a great way to start sharing your story. And sharing your story online on YouTube is so important because it really builds a connection with your audience in a way that it's fun, and it's also easy for you to overcome your fear of being on camera. Sometimes creators get nervous in the beginning of like Get Ready's with Me. And I think it's the easiest one, because what you do is you just hit record. Don't worry about stopping the clips or anything like that. Don't worry about saying, oh, I need more water in my hair. Curly hair girls now. Actually, let me take this off. It's an easy way for you to have fun with your content and share a story, because one, no one can take that away from you. It's your story, your experience. And I think that's why Get Ready's With Me is just like having that girlfriend to girlfriend conversation on FaceTime. This is why it does so well, because it's what women do naturally. As soon as FaceTime existed, we're like on the phone with our friends, talking on the phone, getting to know, sharing what happened, all that good stuff. These Get Ready's With Me took off because women already naturally do it. Be on the phone, getting ready, talking to their girlfriends, their sisters, their best friends, whoever, and discussing things. We're gonna do that here. And we're gonna talk about my experience with my other YouTube channel, because I had a lot of fear of being on camera. I was terrified to the point where I didn't create content for 3 years. And even if you are creating content, I still want you to watch this too, because I think it will resonate even if you're still not getting seen. These are the things that have helped me over time to be seen. A lot of my videos in the past have gotten in front of thousands of people, ended up on Google's first page. Like, it was insane. And so I want to share my experience prior to having all that success, what's going on now on my channel, and then how you're able to overcome, and give you tips of what I've done that helped me in hopes that it helps you too. I have no script. I'm going to talk off of the top of my head based on the experience that I've had in the past when it came to overcoming my fear of being on camera. I want to share about what happened to me when I was young. Wow, that sounds dramatic. Like, not what happened to me, but just kind of like sharing like who I was as a little girl. And if any of this resonates, please let me know in the comment section, because I know I'm not alone. I've heard so many circumstances of like women and little girls when they're young. So as a little girl, I was the ultimate shy little person. My family used to have get-togethers and we would dance in a circle and dance all night long, especially like for those fun times. And they would be like, go Justine, go Justine. And I'd be like, don't look at me, I don't want to be seen. And so I was that type of girl. Like, I just did not like the limelight. I did not like center of attention. I had nothing but friends and family members who enjoyed it. And that's just not my vibe. So when I was younger, the thought of not being liked was the running route of why I didn't like being seen. Because to me, the limelight brought jealousy, envy, and the number one thing I never wanted anybody to feel or disliked me. I couldn't stand not being liked. It kept me up at night knowing that people didn't like me. And it didn't happen often because I was really good at, well, what happens when you want to be liked? You become a people pleaser. And so I appeased everyone from family, friends to best friends. And that creates a lot of people taking advantage of you, and they benefit from you not having boundaries. And so that was me for a long time. I would say up until my late 20s when I was a teacher. Even then, I had to realize I had to stop. But that led into, again, the reason why I didn't want to be seen was because it brought about jealousy. I didn't want people to be jealous of me. Like, I loved everyone the same. Why would anybody want to hate me for just me being me? And when it did happen, it was very detrimental to me. I didn't understand why people didn't like me, because to me, I didn't do anything to anybody. I never lived my life with jealousy, hate, or anything like that. So when people used to get jealous of the things that I had, like boyfriends and hanging out with other people, like, I've had crazy circumstances, and it just didn't matter how much I strived to be liked. There was always a case and scenario of me not being liked by anybody on this earth. After figuring out, like, okay, I just don't want to be that person where most people don't like me. I didn't want that at all. Okay, there we go. My story is that my dad left when I was 3 years old. Actually, he left when I was 10 months. And I don't remember any of this. These are all just stories that my mom have shared as I got older. And to me, knowing what kids need in the moments that they need it, especially being a former teacher and have worked with kids for over 20 years, any form of abandonment or any form of like not having a child's needs met, they make it about themselves. They think it's them, obviously. If you ever had a parent who left you and it made you feel like you were unloved. And so I never wanted people to not love me, because my dad, if he loved me so much, why didn't he stay? That's a very real thing. And it still breaks my heart. He passed away a few years ago. We didn't have the best relationship. It affected me so bad because all I wanted to do was feel loved by a man who kept leaving. And so he wasn't the worst dad in the world, because I've had friends who have worse people in the world, but he also wasn't the best. He was a really good person. I will say that. Like, my dad was such a sweetheart. I think that's where a lot of it, my mom too, they both are really good people. And to be honest, he wasn't a good dad. And so when you don't have that parent who's giving a child their needs, then they make it about them. And that's exactly what happened to me. I promise I'm gonna tie it into overcoming the fear, because if you see where it's going, you'll know. With that said, I was pleasing people. I didn't want people to not like me, which means I didn't want to be in the limelight because it brought jealousy. And so that version of me, then I grew up still trying to get my dad to really like fully love who I was, to then wanting to have a yearn for more. If you don't know my story, if you didn't see my last video, I talked about how I was a teacher of the classroom and I was super depressed with where I was because I had a yearn for more to teach creatively. I can't describe it. Like, it was just something where I was like, this ain't it. This classroom ain't it. And I'm a person who's just like, well, God, what do I do now? What do I do with my life knowing that I don't know now where I'm gonna go? Because teaching was supposed to be it. I studied it and everything. And so the yearn for creating YouTube content is what got me started. I was filming when I was younger, when the moment camcorders came out and all these things. And then even on Facebook, maybe I'll find some videos of me and my cousin. We used to just always create videos and pretend we were on these talk shows and stuff. And so creating content wasn't even a thing back then. There's that. I was watching YouTube all the time. I love the platform. I love what people were creating back then. And this was like in 2014. Obviously YouTube came around, I think like 2005. I was like graduating high school at that time, and it was just getting started. I had a couple of videos on there. Again, I don't know where they are. And I was a Samsung user when I was in college and high school. So I didn't get a chance to like create content like how it is now, but I was creating content. All right, hold on. Let me just flip and share the rest of the story. Just a little editing trick there. All right, so not even sure where we left off when I did that flip because I had to dry my hair. But let's continuing on the path of overcoming your fear on camera. I was recording practically my whole childhood. And so when I became a teacher, I was like, you know what? I really want to teach creatively because the classroom wasn't it. So the yearn that I had to create a YouTube channel was there. And so I started to create content for 3 years. It wasn't like I was doing it on purpose to be on YouTube, but there was a point in time, I think like a year before or that year that I was creating content, I was pretending to talk to my channel and I had made up a name. It was called Just Another DIY and I loved it. I couldn't push myself to upload the video and do that when it came to my content. I wash my face after because I get so hot when I'm drying and doing my hair, and I don't want all the oils to overtake the moisture because I'm a very oily person, as we can see. So I'm gonna wash my face here. Let's see if I can do this. So let me just do a little of that and then put some on my hands. We can wash my face. I would create content and I was asked, because I was so creative growing up, a lot of people loved what I was doing. And one of my friends, my coworkers as a teacher, she was getting married and she was just like, hey, can you make this sign for my wedding? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so as I was making it, because again, I was so creative. Oh my God, I need more water. This is impossible. I don't have a beauty room right now. Co-creating as telling God what I want. Meanwhile, we're just gonna do what we have, right? You gonna see the blow up eventually. Be sure to subscribe. But anyways, so during that time, I was recording myself. And I was pretending that I was on YouTube, talk about manifestation, pretend like you're the person who has the thing that you want. Full circle moment right there. I didn't post it anywhere. In fact, I'll show you a couple of videos here. Oh, hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Justine and this is Just Another DIY. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is Justine with another DIY. Because that's what I was supposed to show my first video. BT dub, if you watch the I Quit My YouTube channel, thank you for 1, watching the video, and then 2, for commenting because I uploaded the wrong freaking video. I had an edited video and it just didn't work out. So I was just like, what in the world? Thank you for that. But that's what I was supposed to show my I Quit video. I didn't upload it anything and I was just like, you know what? I can't do it. I can't overcome my fear of being on content. I was going to therapy at the same time that I was thinking about starting my content on YouTube. And my therapist was like, well, you know, she would ask me things like, well, what are you truly scared of? And then we would walk through situations of like me and how I would feel if the thing that I thought was the worst case scenario was something that actually happened. Is it all? Yeah, it's gonna be a little white. You gotta protect the skin out here in Florida because it'll traumatize you. But she asked me, she was just like, well, what's the worst case scenario? And I was just saying like, what if people don't like me? And so then she asks me like, well, what if they don't? I was just like, oh, but in reality, it's true. And so what if they don't? What does that mean for you? What does that do for you? Like, does that mean that you are not worthy of creating content? Another thing is, what she was asking was truth. And you have to ask yourself if that's the reason why what's stopping you from overcoming that fear. Now, if you're creating content and the content isn't going anywhere, you have to ask yourself why. Are you still holding on subconsciously sometimes to being seen by people? Or is your intention to create content for more selfish needs versus helping somebody else through your content? Because YouTube is a platform that is others focused. Yes, it's about you. And I think when people have extreme, crazy overnight success here on the platform, they still have to go through their journey of hearing the negativity, the toxicity that comes with fame, and being in front of the camera at that moment in time of their highest peak. And then they have to learn like to kind of let go of all the negativity that they experience in real time in front of people. See, with people who don't have such big audiences yet, at least you get to experience that behind the scenes with a small amount of people who are watching your content. Because to me, that's a lot easier to overcome than it is in front of millions of people. So I want to switch my shirt. Green is more my color. When it came down to talking to my therapist, I was just in a space where knew I wanted to do more, and I wanted to share the world. I wanted to share my gifts with the world. But again, I was paralyzed by my own fear. You have to ask yourself, like, what's worth it more? Staying stuck and paralyzed with your own fear, or overcoming that fear and allowing the world to see your light, allowing yourself to be disliked by people where it's really only a projection of themselves. You're just a perfect match for that. And even if it does happen, celebrate it. Like, at least you're agitating people who are not good. If you're constantly having people love you and like you're not your authentic self, that's another thing I had to learn too. So what pushed me over the edge? What gave me the courage to finally be like, you know what? I'm at the point in my life where, my chain is tangled. Okay, there we go. What pushed me over the edge to just overcome? Was it something like I was just like, all right, Justine, we're gonna do it? No. Even with all the therapy, I was doing therapy in those 3 years of teaching, it still didn't work. So what gave me the superpower to overcome my fear? To overcome and just finally show up. And I kind of shared this in my last video called the I Quit YouTube. I look like I have a white face. Oh my God. No, is it? No, it's just the lighting. It's just a lot of light. But anyways, focus. Okay, so what caused me? Well, I lost a lot of people in 1 year. And I got to the point where it was just like, one, life is short. Death always reminds us that life is short. We only have but a limited time here on my earth. I'd be okay with knowing that, hey, I didn't do the thing that I wanted to do. Or even if I was on my deathbed and I was looking at my life, would I be okay with like, am I okay with not chasing after my dreams, but going after them, doing the things that I needed to do? And no, it was all no. Like it was all no. It's just like, hell no. What? Girl, you are worthy of so much more. And yet we allow ourselves to be scared and dim our own light just because we're scared of what other people will think. And if that is you and you're a person who wants to create content on YouTube, like, take it from me, people are not gonna like you anyways. They're gonna like what you love and they're not gonna like you when you're not doing what you love. So you might as well do something you absolutely love to do. On December 31st, I decided, you know what? It was an imperfect video. It was a tribute to the people that we did lose that year. And I was at the point where it's just like, you know what? We got to do what we got to do. We have to be able to step into our power. And then I did it. So now, does that mean like you have to have experienced death in order to overcome your fear of being on camera? No. One, I did not have a mentor or someone I was watching that was talking about overcoming your fear of being on camera. Because back then in 2017, it wasn't something that was being shared. A lot of authenticity came out after the 2020 pandemic. That's when a lot of people started sharing their stories, being more authentic, being more transparent. Now, this day and age, like, transparency is like golden when it comes to content. And this is why, like, something like a get ready with me and sharing something about your story, something that you overcame, it can go in any niche or any industry that you're creating content. So let's say, for instance, you're a baker and you love to bake your content and show your baking skills with your content, but like doing a get ready with me as I go buy my supplies. Or if you're a nail tech and you love to show off your nails on YouTube, like get ready with me as we go behind the scenes to buy my favorite nail supply from my nail supplier or whatever. And this is what I'm gonna do behind the scenes in my next video too, is like the vlogging part can be behind the scenes, because behind the scenes creates more connection with people. And this is why I was just like, you know what better way to show up authentically? As crazy, because I have a Black mother who made sure that we were well put together. And so to show up on camera looking the way I did when I first started was the first for me. So I wanted to have that experience while talking about overcoming the fear, because the fear is always there. The fear never really truly goes away. You just get comfortable with being a little uncomfortable. And I've just have the muscle now to continue to surpass that fear. When it comes to creating content, you have to be willing to do the things that feel uncomfortable to you. You have to be willing to go places that nobody is willing to go to. If you have no one in your family who does content, these are the things that you have to be willing to do. It's part of the process. And I used to watch Get Ready With Me before it was even a trend. Back in the day, I don't know why I took down my hair. Girl, keep it up. Trying to do this is for the girlies. This ain't for the weak. The whole point of understanding is that also when we make the fear about us, we're not thinking about the person who is watching. We are only thinking about our needs versus the difference of what you'll create in someone else's life. Again, I'm a person who goes deep with my content. Some people, again, will follow me and be like, girl, I just want to do a Get Ready With Me as I share what I'm going to be doing in the next week. But that's not what people want nowadays. That was a thing of the past. You have to create content that builds connection. And when we allow fear, especially, okay, so these are for my girlies who refuse to share content about themselves, refuse to be vulnerable with their content, who doesn't think being authentic is part of the connection here on YouTube. I'm letting you know right now, we're living in a world where people crave connection. If you follow even astrology, which I always say, I'm not a spiritual person, I'm not a religious person, because I love learning about astrology. It's just my jam. And you know, it goes against a lot of the biblical stuff in the Bible, but I'm just like, just have an open mind with everything that I share and take whatever resonates and leave what doesn't. But the one thing that I've noticed when it comes down to it is that we're in the age of Aquarius, and I'm an Aquarius myself, Aquarian, and my birthday's on January 21st, and I'm all about like the detachment of the world. But I'm also the humanitarian type vibe when it comes down to my group, the therapist helping every single person. But if we think about the generation that comes around every 2,000 years, as a collective, we crave that connection. And it could be a coincidence, but to me, God makes no coincidence. He is the stars, the moons, the planets. He is the essence. He is the air we breathe, the trees we see, the love we feel for each other. Like, it's not just one thing that we put together on a picture and just assume that's what God is. God is omnipresent. And so the way we co-create with the essence around us, from the planets to the stars to the moon to each other, it's just how we are able to cultivate the life that we desire. And if we allow fear to overcome us, and I think fear is there for a reason. It's there to bridge light on the things we have to overcome. Because on the other side of that fear, it's true triumph. It's true authenticity. It's growth. It's strength. It's courage. It's bravery. And fulfillment. And so when we allow fear to dictate who we are, we don't ever get to the place where God designed us to be. Let that sink in. Praise the girls who do, because listen, this ain't for the weak. I don't know how people, maybe that's why they don't talk. They do breaks and then they talk. That's what I'm assuming. So that is truly how I overcame the fear of being on camera and being seen. And the one thing I wanted to talk about before we kind of like go into the next content piece is just that when it comes down to being fearful, you're living in that fear, is that when you give it power, it overconsumes you. And when it comes down to the consumption of fear, we stay paralyzed. And if you watch the I Quit My YouTube channel, where I talked about when you stay stagnant in who you are, it creates dis-ease in the body. And I don't say disease, I say dis-ease. And disease is dis-ease. And so fear paralyzes us, but it's also supposed to be can't talk. It's supposed to be an ignition to start something new. And I think it is the pull to take you somewhere further, because our comfort zone is great, but we're not destined to just sit here and have fun. We're destined to overcome challenges that we never thought we could do. And in the essence of co-creating with God. And so I think that's why what we're doing here on earth is to help someone else, because when you step into your power as a woman, you can co-create with God and you can show his people, his kids, how to do it themselves too. That's really like glossy. I'm just not the beauty guru, but I love watching this stuff. And I'm like, I feel like I'm talking to my girlfriend whenever I watch these things. So I'm just like here for it. I was like, you know what, with this new YouTube channel, we gonna take it and we gonna do things we never done before. So all in all, that is how I overcame my fear of being on camera. And my journey, I feel like I'm still a little white, but on this sunscreen, it's probably because maybe I didn't really truly rinse off my face wash. I wiped it off, but okay. So take a lesson from my book. When it comes down to fear, even with being a content creator for 6.5 years, it's going on 7 at the end of this year, and I'm so excited to be a part of that. But for me, it's just like, I still feel uncomfortable with a lot of the things that I do, but I'm willing to challenge myself as a creator. So whether you haven't started or you have, find ways to be more creative and challenge yourself as a creator, because as you evolve, your audience will draw in closer and closer with you. People will find you and fall in love with your content. And if they don't, they won't subscribe. They won't participate, or they might write a hate comment and thinking that's going to ruin your day. But don't let it. When we have the fear of being on camera, it's usually the judgment we have within ourselves, and you have to be willing to let that judgment go. So the first thing that I would suggest for anybody to overcome that fear, especially if you haven't gotten started, is just to realize, write down the things that you're scared of. If you're scared of people judging you, I want you to say, instead of people judging you, it's I'm scared that I judge myself. I'm scared that I will call myself this. I'm scared of that it's not the people, because we give people power when their words mean something to us. If I sit here and say, oh, you're blue, you're going to look at me like I'm crazy. Well, one, were there blue people? But two, what? But that's because it's not true. You don't believe it to be true, so it does not affect you. So therefore, do not give anybody else's words power over you unless you believe it to be true. And if you do believe it to be true, that's something you have to work through. And the only way you'll ever become confident on camera is when you start to take a leap and just take action. This video was proof of that. It's just showing up as my authentic self. This version of me that has the curls, the hair, the makeup, like just the eye mascara, because I don't be doing all that makeup, because obviously I got an oily complexion. I ain't got time for that. I live in Florida. It's always hot here. End all be all, right? But take a chance. I challenge myself to be more creative with this type of content. I watched it all the time for 6 years, if not 10 years, or whatever I started. Like, I used to watch makeup all the time, not because I was into it, but because I just enjoyed it. I was obsessed looking at women, watching them do makeup, because I couldn't master it. So I did it on here to prove myself that I can do anything I am capable of doing with the highest creator. So take this as an encouraging thing for you to do, for you to cultivate, for you to step into your power. And again, if you're creating content, how can you be more creative with your content? How can you bridge a gap between you and your audience? How do you draw them in closer? How do you build that connection? Because the more people feel connected to you, the more they will ride with you to the end of time. As long as you're continuing to make content, being yourself, being who you are, being who God made you to be, there's nothing that you cannot do. Well, I'm almost done with my water. I'm about to film our next video when it comes to vlogging. So again, if you're watching this as it is already out, feel free to go check it out. But I hope this was encouraging to you. I wanted to share something too as we close out, is that as a teacher, we used to be stealing from each other. In fact, like, stealing was like the biggest thing to do as a teacher. And if you have any teacher friends or you know someone's a teacher, ask them about it, because teachers love like, steal my strategy, steal this. And they'd be like, and I mean, obviously not actually take it, but like, take the idea, take the strategy, take this content idea and any content idea from here on in the future. Utilize it in a way that helps you build a connection with your audience. Do a get ready with me. Do a place where you're going to talk about how you overcame maybe starting to get nails done, or doing what made you interested in doing makeup, or what are the best techniques for curly hairs. Whatever your industry or niche is in, please, by all means, steal this content and incorporate it into yours, and let me know. I would love to know, how did it go? Did you overcome that fear? And if you're not creating content, girl, what are you doing? It's time to get down to business. It's time to share with the world your light. If you have the yearn and you're watching this video, I already know who you are. So Stop being scared. Other than that, I hope this video was truly an inspiration to you. That is the overall intention of this video. If you would like to learn how to optimize your video to be seen by millions of people, feel free to go check out the training down below. I'll leave the link for you. If not, don't forget to hit that like button. Let me know in the comments what other fears you might have. Maybe I'll make a future video over that. And did this resonate with you? I hope it did. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next video, because now we're going to talk about how to overcome your fear of vlogging in public. That's the next one coming up. So I love you so much. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.